Hey everybody, welcome back to A Brief on Grief. It is gorgeous and warm here today. Hopefully you can hear me over my fan going, because yeah, I don't think I could do this with the fan. But I will never complain about the heat because I love it. It's gorgeous and sunny and hot here in Edmonton, and it's still early June, so loving it. Anyway, back to the topic. I'm super excited to be here today, to share something with you. Anybody who knows me personally or has followed like this series or my posts and stuff on Facebook knows that I'm obsessed with two things that I call superpowers: the grief recovery method and EFT or emotional freedom technique tapping. Those have literally been my superpowers that have guided me the last 4 years into transforming my life into something I barely recognize, after a sudden end of my marriage in 2019. And I've raved and raved about both of them many times during this series in different types of videos, because really they've been the catalyst for transforming my life, and they're literally what I'm leading my future with as well. Looking at life and loss and love completely differently, and learning how to love myself through loss and grief completely differently. And of course, that's going to change everything, and it has. And part of the change and part of the excitement of why I'm here today is the last few years I've been dreaming about creating a program for people. I've been dreaming about combining the superpower of the grief recovery method, which is an action-based, evidence-based, wholehearted program, an active moving forward program to recover and move through loss and grief of any kind. So whether that's losses with people, so people that are alive or people that have passed away, or whether it's with pets that you've lost, or whether it's with intangible things like money. You can do grief recovery on money. You can do grief recovery on your relationship with your body. You can do your grief recovery on your relationship with time. There's endless things that you can do grief recovery on. Really, it's about completing any kind of relationship with anything or anybody that is incomplete. And 100% of us are actually grieving right now, and 100% of us have unprocessed grief from our past, because it comes in part by the way we've been taught about loss and grief. We haven't been taught about it, for one, and we haven't been taught healthy ways to process our emotions. What we've been taught and learned from, passed down from our families, because they learned from their families, and from our society, is our society runs off of running away from pain, trying to do anything to distract yourself and suppress it and ignore it, and believing that with time and everything it will move on and we'll be free of it. No, that actually keeps it stuck and accumulating in our body. And as you've heard me say, if any of the videos where I've talked about this before, well, I've talked about it in almost every video in this whole series, the suppression of that grief, the suppression of that emotional energy, it does not just disappear. It's like physics. Energy can't just disappear, it just changes form. And that accumulated energy impacts our bodies. It keeps our systems hyper aroused, our nervous systems in inflammation, our body in inflammation. Anyway, I won't go into all the details, but so I've had the dream of combining the superpower of the grief recovery method along with EFT tapping. So creating a program of that. EFT tapping, for anybody who hasn't heard about it before, emotional freedom technique. It's an incredibly powerful tool that uses the same acupuncture points and meridians as the Chinese meridian system. So the naturopathic ancient Chinese medicine that balances your energy and tries to balance flow of energy to balance your organ systems and how your body works. It's working that same system, and you're getting that same effect by tapping on these points that needles would usually go into. But on top of that, you're also speaking your emotions, either with yourself or in a group of people, which is super powerful, or in one-on-one in a private like session where you're doing your own little journey with somebody who's skilled and guided to lead you through it. So whether you're working through grief or you're working through anything. So again, those have been my superpowers in my journey. And now I've created this amazing program that combines the both of them. And I've called it Starting Fresh After Loss. And it's just a couple months old, but I realized I haven't even recorded a video yet to tell my YouTube crew about it. So here I am now. So I'm running it right now in person in Edmonton. So anybody that sees this video, connect with me. There's going to be an email below this video. And soon, in a few weeks, there'll be a website link connected to this video too, and other videos. where you can find out more. But if you're interested in this program, then connect with me at the email below. But right now it's just in person. In the fall and winter, I have an intention of getting certification so I can do it online with anybody that's outside of Edmonton. So stay tuned for that. But yes, so I just want to tell you a little bit about the program before we end here. It's an 11-week program. And what it is it's basically you're going through a journey of first learning about what loss and grief actually is. All the things that I've been talking about in this video series, that loss is something we experience every day. Grief is something we experience nearly every day, and to learn to recognize that in your life. And through that, you're also learning to recognize where you're experiencing loss, but you're learning to recognize it based on how we've been taught to push it away and numb it. And then some of the behaviors that we've been taught to distract ourselves from pain. And you look at your life in a whole way and be like, oh, okay. And you start to learn some of the ways that you've pushed away pain or how you make yourself feel better when you're in pain. That's like the first few sessions of it. And then you go into looking at your life as a whole and looking at some of the major losses that you've had in your life. Again, there's no way you could look at them all, because we're experiencing them almost every single day. But you look at the ones that are most stand out the most in your life, and then you go through this powerful process of creating emotional statements, creating a letter. First, like picking a specific relationship and going through the process of creating statements and creating a letter. I won't go into detail because, again, this program, it works and is the most powerful when you're going through it step by step without knowing the whole process. When we know the whole process of what to expect with something, it pulls us out of our heart and it keeps us up in our head. And the idea of this program is very heart-centered, and it's really about addressing grief. Because grief is a broken heart, right? When we're emotionally grieving losses in our lives, it's all about our heart and not about our head. So it's about bringing us out of our head and into our heart so that we can process grief in a healthy way and move past and start fresh. So in that whole journey, we're also going to be, the program that I've created also has tapping sessions, EFT tapping sessions interspersed throughout it, which is why it's that full comprehensive 11-week program. So hopefully that's enough information that kind of intrigues you a little bit and you want to learn more. Again, connect with me at the email below, and I'm happy to share more. I like to meet up with people in person, ideally. On Zoom works too, to chat about it a little bit more, to chat all the details, like when did we do it, how much, what does it look like, how long are the sessions, what do I get with the program price, like the books, the materials, all that stuff. We can talk about all that stuff. But again, if in person or on Zoom doesn't work, we can do it on the phone. So I could rave and rave about this forever, but I'm going to cut short now, and I've given you enough information to see if it pulls you or not. Again, a reminder, a huge part about this is that we are not taught we are grieving. We're not taught how often we are grieving and how often we experience loss, but we're actually experiencing it every day. And because we haven't been taught how to deal with it in healthy ways, it's accumulated in our body. It's what leads to so many things. I'm also leading an info session here in Edmonton on June 23rd to go through this in a little bit more detail and go through my program in a little bit more detail. So if you're in Edmonton, it's going to be at Reveal Studio on Friday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. I will also put the link here below this video too if you want to come. It's a free session to learn more about what I'm talking about and learn about how to sign up for this program if you want. I got distracted. There's something else that I wanted to tell you about. Well, I don't know what it is. But, oh yeah, it was about grieving. Right, but because we don't know that we have it in our bodies and it's making us suffer, we don't know to recognize it. But unprocessed grief looks like irritability. It looks like fatigue. It looks like overwhelm. It looks like chronic pain, chronic digestive issues, brain fog, troubles thinking, troubles sleeping, anxiety, panic attacks, irritability or abusive behavior or language outbursts to people. I could go on and on and on and on. Allergies. This is how it manifests in our body physically and emotionally and mentally. But again, you can learn more about that at that session or in some of my previous videos that I've talked about it. So, okay, Thank you, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye.